Hey there, welcome to Oldman Runner. In today's video, I'm going to talk about Strava and James Joyce. Strava. Now, I use it infrequently. I'm never quite sure what to do. My data uploads automatically from the course, and occasionally, if I've got out and I've got a nice photo, I'll make it all public. Otherwise, I'm always afraid I'm boring everybody with my Strava stuff. What I like on Strava when I'm looking at it is I love to look at the shapes that other people run. I mean, I suppose it matters to anyone else, but I love looking at sort of the shapes. Some people run very rectilinear shapes. Some people run crazy shapes, and there's variations in between. I was looking at Chris's ones a week or so ago, and it looked like he was in a valley and a sort of like a pendulum going up and down all the different sides. And so all of those things I look at, and they kind of interest me. And I went out running around Dublin. I went around George and Dublin, and I was kind of running around Joyce country, well, Joyce City, I suppose. Joyce Country means something else now. But I was running around, and then I came back, and I looked at the shape, and it looked like some sort of demented bird eating a little pill, which turned out to be Blessing and Basin. And it looks sort of, I'll show a picture of it here, but it looked kind of demented. And then I thought back to Strava art, where a lot of people go, and they run deliberate shapes to make all sorts of things on the landscape. And I was interested in that. And in 2015, as part of my James Joyce running, I decided that I would try and write the character Joyce. So this was my plan. I'd write Joyce, and there's an extract here from my notebook. And I thought, well, if I run in cursive writing, I'll get dizzy and fall over. And I thought, well, I could do the straight lines, but I'll need cones. And it was all a bit much. So I parked it for a while, parked the idea. And then later on in the year, I thought, hang on a second, why don't I run a piece of what Joyce is in the text of Ulysses? Now, bit of a warning. If you don't like reading about masturbation, micturition, and menstruation, albeit in moderation, give Ulysses a skip. It's not what the book is about, but it contains all of this and more. So if you're, and also I'll delve into some of these topics as we go. But essentially, in one of the scenes, and they're called episodes, chapters are called episodes in Ulysses. Leopold Bloom has had a long day. He's been at a funeral. He knows that his wife is having an assignation with blazes boiling at 4 or 4:30 in the afternoon. He's worried about this. He knows he's going to be cuckolded. And he's worried about this. And he finds himself on Sandymount Strand, down the road from me here. And he's on Sandymount Strand. And he's there. And he sees Gertie McDowell. He's about 38. She's about 21. And he's there. He's leaning against a rock. Now, other things are going on. So in the Star of the Sea Church, which is just behind, and these are real places. So in the Star of the Sea Church, there's benediction going on, and it's coming to a climax. There's a bazaar taking place in the RDS, the Royal Dublin Society. So for those of you who don't know Dublin, it's where people do events. So Bruce Springsteen has played there, doing his Born in the USA. His daughter has also played there. Well, actually, doing with the American equestrian team, doing show jumping, or as I like to think, but Shorn in the USA. So it's kind of there, but they're having a bazaar and fireworks are going off. So fireworks are going off. This mass Catholic ceremony is coming to a crescendo, and Bloom sees Gertie. Gertie sees Bloom, and this sort of dialogue is going on between them. Bloom decides to practice the art of onan, or he masturbates, wets his shirt up, and all of this is going on, and it's all, to use a phrase, kicking off, and. Then as the novel, as Bloom's worries again about his wife, and Gertie leaves, he takes a stick in the sand and he writes in the sand, I am a. So I thought, well, why don't I try and run I am a, and I'll run it in that part of the land because it's now a park and there's playing fields. So I decided that's what I would do. And you can see here me trying to work it out. I was trying to work out how I would know, and again I didn't want to have a layout cones, but I am is a very simple layout. And then I started to look at the floodlights on the field, and I thought, well, I could run between the floodlights. And then I thought, well, how will I know when I'm halfway across to make the crossbar of the A? And I realized that there are goalposts in the middle of the pitch, and as long as I ran to the middle of the goalposts and sort of looked at the different lines, anyway, I figured I could work it out based on the goalposts. Now the goalposts, I'll show a video of it here. This is a football field, but it's Irish football or Gaelic football. So for those of you who argue about soccer and football and all sorts of stuff, this is Gaelic football, and you can see the goalposts. So I ran that. I also ran Ulysses is set on the 16th of June 1904, and on that actual night, Joyce, again, he mixes all these things together. He actually stayed in reality at the cousin's house, not because that was their name, nearby, and I ran past there and I ran back to the church and made a loop. So I made this thing, and then the images you'll see are from Runkeeper and I think a bit of Google Maps, and I made this sort of artwork of sorts. What I liked about it was Bloom is not real. He seems real to me. He's one of the most famous characters in literature. Joyce writes him so completely. Everything he does in the day is recorded, and I mean everything. And so Bloom, he's not real. And when he writes as Bloom writes, "I am in the sand," that's going to get washed away. So it's always ephemeral, even in a novel. And Bloom wipes away some with his foot, and then he thinks he hears the cuckoo sound, and of course that's a reminder that he's a cuckold. So I like the ephemeral nature, but Strava art is also ephemeral. It's all it's not real. It's a sort of trace, and then it's as virtual as the novel is. And so that's one of the reasons I'm interested in, is this sort of idea of having fun with running, but also in the Strava art, it's never really there. It's there for a moment in some sort of world, and then it's gone. Pretty much like me. Thanks for watching. See you next week.